to Craftmas, a fun 12-day event where I'm making 12 different crafts that you can make that are perfect for the holidays. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jordan. I like to share Cricut crafts and small business tips on my channel. Today we are making a hot cocoa tray. I got these trays off of Amazon and I just thought they were perfect for a hot cocoa tray, so that's what I wanted to make. The process to this is pretty similar to making a wood sign, but I thought it would be a fun idea to show off what you can do. So I've already cut everything out with permanent vinyl and I'm now weeding everything. And you can see that sometimes some of the letters get stuck, so I'm just using the weeding pen to help move that along. And the green actually came off really nicely. It was the red that kind of had more troubles. So I cut a lot of that out, but you can see that this E just did not want to stay on. And this happens with a lot of the letters, but I just kind of picked it back up with my finger and tried to put it back where it was supposed to go. I cut all the vinyl down so that weeding would be a lot easier. It just works out better when you have less excess vinyl that you're pulling, so that's why I did that. I was weeding and it just didn't want to stay on, so I was using the tool to kind of keep it held down, and yeah, it was just a thing. Sometimes some vinyl is like that, and I really wish I could remember what vinyl weeds perfectly and what one I have trouble with, but I kind of mix them all up and I don't remember what is what. Yeah, you just gotta go slowly and eventually you'll get there. Now, I cut out a ton of this part because the circles that I used had these little slits that you had to pull out, and I had to put my head right above the camera to be able to see where those lines were. So all of a sudden this will be weeded and you didn't get to see any of it, but that is why. So now I'm just going through and weeding with a weeding pen or the weeding tool from Cricut, depending on the size of the letter. When they are super small, I like to use the weeding pen. It's just a lot easier. But if you are doing that, make sure you have a mat down so that you don't poke holes in your desk. For this warm up here all winter, these letters just kept moving around on me, and it is what it is. This isn't perfect, but it ended up being decent. So I cut out the circles in half so I could do it one side at a time. And it didn't really end up lining up exactly where it should have, but that is okay. I used Oracle transfer tape because sometimes when I'm putting things on wood, I don't really want it to pull up the wood. And this was a fairly simple project, so like it didn't have a lot of layers that I was pulling up at once, so I thought I would be able to get away with the Oracle transfer tape, and it worked out pretty decent. If something does get stuck, just use your scraper tool to push things down, either right onto the wood or as you're pulling the transfer tape. And then for the letters, I decided it was time for a new sheet of transfer. I can get about 2 to 3 uses out of a transfer tape, but for this in particular, I was doing some layering and I wanted a heavier transfer tape to make sure I didn't lose any pieces in the process, which worked out in my favor because this pulled off super nicely. Slowly pull off at an angle to make sure all of the letters are staying in place. And then I cut down that same piece of transfer tape to do the other pieces. And since this was a strong grip transfer tape, it held up using it over and over for the rest of this piece. So I just kept reusing that one piece, and then I kept cutting it down so I didn't have this huge piece of transfer tape that I was trying to pull off. And now comes the fun part, but also my disclaimer. Vinyl is not food grade and safe for you to eat off of, but for the purpose of this video and the photos I was taking, I didn't really mind. And it was only on here for like maybe 2 minutes total, so I wasn't really too concerned. Now, if I were to use this for myself, one thing I would say is that peppermint is sticky, so I would probably seal this with a clear coat, or I would probably just put parchment paper down, would be the easiest, so that you can just pull everything up and you're not leaving a mess. But for the sake of the video and the photos, I really just wanted you to be able to see what it was, and then you can go from there and decide how you want to cover your board. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Craftmas. Let me know if you're going to be making any of the projects I've made so far. And if you have any suggestions for the last few days of Craftmas, let me know. Have a great day. Bye.